They weren't hypochondriacs, they actually were becoming ill based on the events on this TV show. It's called, so it means that I found out the term for that is that they developed what's known as mass psychogenic illness. So it really could happen.
Flynn's Arcade.
Hi, this is Flynn's Arcade, and this is part 2 of my Pontypool video. Hope you're all having a great festive break, and please like, share and subscribe. But spreading tall tales and urban myths is one thing, and spreading falsehoods on social media or on the radio is another thing. Because of Pontypool, I wanted to look into whether it's possible for something as dramatic as the virus depicted. Is there any precedent for something like that happening? I know that words can have an impact on the physical environment. I've been watching recently a BBC Maestro course about Alan Moore, the writer, and he's very vocal about the power of language. And an example he uses is that, if you read Shakespeare to people whilst they're in a brain scan, their actual brains will light up like a Christmas tree. It's like language can't have an impact. If language can impact brain chemistry and consciousness, it's certainly a lot more powerful than we actually think about, and I'd never really considered it until I watched Pontypool. I wanted to know if there'd ever been any events that were as dramatic as the events of Pontypool, and I found that in 1518 there was a very severe case of social hysteria, mass hysteria and social contagion. How well it's reported at this stage and this far on, I totally take with a pinch of salt, because based on what I've said about there's even contemporary stories that I'm getting wrong, about the story about the cats and the children and things. It means that something from 1518, I don't fully trust how accurate the records are. But apparently, at some point in France in 1518, people just suddenly got up and started dancing to the point of exhaustion. They just literally danced and danced and danced until they dropped. Apparently, some of them died, but the numbers aren't too sure. And so as a species, we can do this. There's something that can make us all go horribly wrong and just start glitching and doing things incredibly wrong. Is that coming out of language? Is it coming out of people being poisoned? Is it coming out of something in the air? We don't know, but there is form for this. After the case of the dancing plague of 1518, I wanted to know if there'd been anything more recent, and especially if there'd been something involving the media in some way. And I found out that in 2006, something like that really did happen. There was a soap opera that was popular with Portuguese children being broadcast in 2006 called Strawberries and Sugar. And what happened was one of the characters became ill on the programme, and in response to that, Portuguese children all started becoming ill. They weren't just telling the parents they weren't well, or telling the teachers they weren't well, or putting it on in some way. Some of them were actually shown physical symptoms such as rashes. They weren't hypochondriacs. They actually were becoming ill based on the events on this TV show. It's called so it means that I found out the term for that is that they developed what's known as mass psychogenic illness. So it really could happen. So to sum up, what Pontypool teaches us, it really takes in a lot of ethical issues. I mean, I've always felt that with when it comes to freedom of speech, as long as you don't shout fire in a crowded cinema, then mostly it's fine. I think you should be able to say whatever you want and be able to be criticised in any way that people see fit. But with Pontypool, it really made me think about messaging and what I say, and what other people say. And obviously I know how to fact check, but sometimes as the case I talked about, where I was just sort of listening idly to various live streamers, and when I was making this video, I thought about going back to clip the people who had heard the story about the children in the litter boxes and the meowing and skulls, and I thought about going back and clipping them. and putting that in the video just because I like using sources. However, I decided against this. It was partly because, to be honest, because I couldn't be asked. I mean, this was like live streams I was idly listening to when I was supposed to be working, and so I couldn't even remember really where I'd heard it. But also another person that purported this story is a comedian, so isn't known for being particularly he's not he's not providing education, he's providing solely entertainment. So does it really matter whether he tells the truth or not? No, it doesn't, because it's not what he's presenting himself as doing. So even with that, it's like when people, I hold absolutely no ill will to the people who shared the story. I certainly don't hold ill will to Joe Rogan, because he didn't get it shared on purpose. I mean, I think the sort of pre-Joe Rogan origin of the story is politicians was telling the tale in the run-up to an election, and it was a way to sort of fearmonger about the problems with the education system, and so that was what that appears to be the origin. I mean, I'd really like to follow it even further back just to find out if there's ever any grain of truth in it. Then the furthest I've managed to go is in a certain school. They actually had a bucket of kitty litter that they kept under the sink just in case there was a sort of like school closure and there was a power cut or something, or the water mains were cut off, just in case. That's the only sort of like vaguely factual piece of information I've been able to find out. I've mentioned previously that I think that Sydney Briers, the character in Pontypool, is completely the voice of reason and ethical broadcasting, but she certainly is very down on gossip and half truths. But even in her case, she talks about the like Ken Loney in his Sunshine Chopper, about how he's they think he's a pedophile and so they never let the kids near him. That's gossip. I mean, it's sensible gossip. It's like the thing with if you think somebody might hurt your children, you keep them away from them. But even so, I don't think there was ever any evidence, or any direct evidence she could quote that he'd done these things. She was also more than happy to perpetuate the lie that he was in his Sunshine Chopper and flying around and getting weather updates when he quite clearly wasn't. So even so, it's not a case. It's not as simple as just tell the truth all the time and hope for the best. I think what the film teaches us is that some spin and some fudging of the truth can be okay within certain circumstances. I mean, Sydney didn't broadcast on the radio what she thought about Ken Loney. She just quietly told Grant about it. And also, does it really matter whether he's actually in his Sunshine Chopper or not? No one really cares. And so is that like a sort of acceptable white lie? Possibly, I don't know. And also, as well, the bit that I keep coming back to is the vector for the whole infection, in my opinion, was the missing cat story, and which Grant was sharing quite innocently, and that was what caused it. So it's not the case of what we say because lest it be untrue, because it could create social problems if it isn't. It's just, and what Pontypool really says is there's nothing really we can do. We just have to try our best and see what we can come up with. So unfortunately there's no big answers in Pontypool, and I'll never really be fully clear as to what went on, and that's why I've always been what caused the virus in the first place. I've been completely convinced that Grant Massey's the sort of catalyst for the whole thing, and the missing cat story. I don't really understand how everything fits together, and so which is why I'm reading the book at the moment to see if I can figure something out, and maybe I'll make another video when I do. But anyway, thanks a lot for listening to this. Did you learn anything more about Pontypool? Did you find the story I told about the weird urban myth about the children in litter boxes interesting? Did you find it disgusting? Had you heard this story and believed it? Had you heard this story before and not believed it? Please let me know in the comments. If you would like me to cover more live action films, please let me know, because I'm very aware of the fact that the past two TV programs I've covered have been animations. I mean, actually, technically Scott Pilgrim like versus the World was a live action film, but I made the video based on the animation, so this is the first live action film I've covered. So yeah, just let me know in the comments what you think. I can't stress it enough, like please like and subscribe to this channel. Like it's really new and I really need all the support I can get at the moment. And so until then, like you know, hope you're having a great time in the during the holiday period, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Thanks, bye bye. So that's the end of my video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share and subscribe, and see you in the next video.